Okay, so number 4. They are saying the function shown in the table below is linear. Find its slope, y-intercept, and formula in slope-intercept form. Okay. Well, we know all about doing this, right? We'll do step part number here, slope. How do we do slope? Well, we need the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Well, where do I get that? Really, you can just grab any 2 points you want. Like, oh, by the way, this is y here. Functions like f of x, or in this case, k of x, that's your y. Functions are always y. That's by common agreement in the math science world. So functions are always your y. So I'm going to use these two and these two because those numbers just look easiest. So I'm going to use 0, 1, and 5, 16 as my x1, y1, x2, y2. But you could use any 2 you want. It doesn't matter. It'll come out the same, whatever you do. So y2 is 16 minus y1, 1 over y, x2, 5 minus x1, 0, 15 over 5, 3. So the slope is 3. Okay, step 2. What is the y-intercept? Well, let me help with the intercept. So throughout this semester, they're going to be asking us at many different times in many different ways about intercepts. So it's really good, excuse me, if you get that really straight. I think I put it in the notes. Not sure exactly. Yeah, nice. There it is. Beautiful. Right in the notes, because it's going to come up a lot. So let me highlight that for you right here in the notes. Okay. Yeah, really important. This will really serve you well if you just, it'll come up so much, it's worth memorizing. It's worth just kind of knowing off the top of your head because it'll come up a lot all semester long in many different settings and situations. So finding x and y intercepts. Basically, you plug in 0 for the other letter. To find an x-intercept, plug in y0 and solve. To find a y-intercept, plug in x0 and solve. That's really the story. You make the opposite letter 0. So let's do that. Coming on down here. Oops. All right. So to find a y-intercept, plug in x equals 0 and solve. That is how you find intercepts. You make the opposite letter 0. So to find an x-intercept, you make y0. To find a y-intercept, you make x0. So plug in x equals 0 and solve. Now you might think, what do you mean plug in? Plug into what formula? Well, yeah, we don't really have a formula right now, but we can look up at the table. Where do you see x0? Right there. And what's the y that goes with it? 1. So y equals 1 when x is 0. So the y-intercept is 1. The y value that goes with x0. That's what that means. When x is 0, what's the y value that goes with it? When x is 0, the y value that goes with it is 1, says the table right there. And then finally, step number 3 says, basically that's fancy talk for the equation. It says slope intercept form. That means what's the equation? It's going to be y. Remember y equals mx plus b? That's called, yeah, let me just give, I'm not normally into names, but every now and then it's helpful to know it in case your other teachers are more into names and you want to know them. So that's called slope intercept form. Slope intercept form. Why? Because this right here is the slope and this right here is the intercept. So when we write y equals mx plus b, that's called slope intercept form. That's what they're saying right here. Because the m is the slope right next to x, and the b is the intercept, the y-intercept that comes right after the x. This is the y-intercept. So we have those. So the slope, we got it right here, 3. Plus the y-intercept, got it right here, 1. There it is. 3x plus 1. It's just having us put those two things together. 3x plus 1. There we go.